Thanks for tuning in, guys. Welcome to Perry Live with Ron Drake. We missed last week. I apologize. I had to be out of town, but we're back. I'm back in town this week. Excited as ever for my guest that I have with us today. So I'm going to start, before I introduce you, with because basically you need no introduction to anybody that's watching the show. But Kayla and I were kind of talking about this the other day. Kayla's from Main Street Directors, you know, and came on Facebook today. 1 year ago today was my very first day in Perry.
Wow.
I know, that's kind of cool.
That's crazy, yeah.
And so my co-host here, Derek Coldiron, thanks for being on the show.
Glad to be here.
You're one of my oldest friends in Perry, my first friends, I should say. I have friends that are older than you, but not that many. So you're one of my first friends in Perry.
That's cool. I'm glad to be.
Yeah, we remember that second night. I think it was the second night. We just kind of hung out for an hour or two after the end of the day and just kind of getting to know each other, talking about Perry, and then really just kind of talking about the anticipated excitement we could already feel.
Right. We're talking it over and had a good time hanging out.
I know, it was fun.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah, well, I was probably making stuff up. So we'll talk a little bit as we go, I think, maybe about the momentum and things we're still feeling and still challenges that we have ahead. But because you are not just a citizen of Perry, and you are a citizen of Perry, but you're also a council member.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I work at Charles Machine Works as well, and born and raised here. There's several generations of us here, and just looking to make the town as good as we can.
Yeah. So, and you have a wife and a couple of kids?
3 kids.
3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wife and 3 kids.
Mm-hmm. How old are they?
They are 17, about to be 18, 10, and 5.
Yeah.
So we got them spread out.
But, go from that 7 to 10.
Yeah.
I had that. Mine, except for mine, is 17, about to be 18.
Mm-hmm.
I think next week, and then my older one's 25. So I got that 7-year gap thing, which is kind of nice because the older one babysat probably.
Yeah, and it's good for certain things. I mean, you don't have 2 college tuitions at once. You don't have to buy 2 cars at once.
Right. You could save up a little bit in between.
Positives. There's positives.
Yeah. So you're several generations here, working for a company that's been here for a long time. It's grounded and it's rooted in Perry. So you're pretty true blue.
Yes.
Perry.
I would say so.
Yeah. I didn't say true blue just because you're wearing a blue shirt, but maybe that was ironic. But and so you decide not only are you totally rooted and grounded in Perry, you're going to run for city council and try to help make a difference there.
Definitely. Yeah.
How's that going?
Hey, it's going. We starting out, learn a lot, and I'm still learning stuff every day doing what we do, and I think we're making changes and things are looking up in all kinds of areas, not just council, but out in the community and all the people that are taking part and doing things to make things happen.
Yeah. So what makes you decide because when someone runs for city council, you might as well wear a shirt with a big target on it, right? I mean,
right.
You're trying your best. It's basically volunteering. You do get a little stipend, but the amount of time you spend, and I know from the conversations we've had, because we joked one time, like, I actually read that whole entire packet, right, front to back, and sometimes those packets are big. What makes you decide to do something like that?
Well, I didn't do it with an agenda for any one particular reason. I just really wanted to take part in the community, and had been asked to take part in several things over the years, and this time was asked to do that, by several people, and it was the right time, the right place, and so I just made the leap and did it.
Right. Sometimes it matters that season in life too, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
It just hits you at that right time.
Right.
And this is your first term, is
First
that right?
term, yep.
So let's just kind of point out the big, I guess if there's a white elephant in the room, from I haven't watched the video, but I guess it was quite a meeting even just this last Monday at City Council, and it's probably every year it's probably the most intense meeting because you're talking about money, you're talking about the budget. That's the one thing people seem to relate to the most is money, right?
Definitely.
So,
I mean, especially when it comes to their pocketbooks.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's my pocketbook as well.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
And the city's a business, and it has to make money too to succeed. And so it's always, we make several tough decisions, but the budget, you know, there's a lot of analysis that has to go into that.
Sure.
And I think it was the 7th budget that finally got passed.
Okay.
So it went through 7 versions, and,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of work here at City Hall and all the people that it takes to try and put those together and come
Yeah.
up with the different options to try and balance that out and make it work. And you know, when it comes to raising rates, I don't think anybody wants to do it, but we definitely had a good turnout. And I want to thank everybody for coming out and talking, and I would encourage everyone to continue to do the same so that we can continue to do what the citizens of Perry want.
Right.
And we you know, that they have a voice.
Right.
And
No, I mean you're the city council member. I mean, obviously you guys are a representative of the community, but I agree with you. I mean, people need to understand how this whole thing works,
Right.
and I'm sure you've learned a ton on how this whole
oh yeah.
this whole thing works, right?
Yeah,
Just
like I
from
said,
being-
I'm still learning. You know,
Yeah.
there's still new things. I mean, the budget we passed was for certain funds, and there's other funds that weren't even discussed in there that we have from other taxes passed in the past. That's how the streets and the sewers
Okay.
are getting paid for. It's coming out
Right.
of different funds, and the sidewalk project, and then you have the budget we passed, which is mainly for the 1 cent sales tax that we have, and then the utilities and everything else. And that covers that and what the fund that we have to run the city.
So the big challenge, it seems, and I work a lot in Oklahoma and learning how communities operate. I mean, that 1 cent sales tax. I mean, that's the kind of the make or break, so to speak. Maybe not break, but you know, we got to get that tax revenue
Yeah, we do.
to keep this thing rolling.
It's the only, I mean, that's the best way, and the more sales tax that we can accrue here, the better
Right.
off we are. Utility rates don't even have to be looked at in that case.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So,
So what do you think are some of the steps towards getting that
Yeah.
tax
Well,
base up there?
I mean, you know, what you're here doing, getting a lot of momentum going downtown, that's a great step, and if we can fill every business here and give
Yeah.
the people a place to go shop and find the things that they need here in Perry instead of having to go 20 miles away, that's a great start. You know, if we can also build some infrastructure and businesses out in the commercial park,
Sure.
that would go
Oh,
a
yeah,
long
that's
way.
true. Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
people to stop off I-35,
Right.
and then once they stop, have things that tell them to come downtown because we have this or that. And then there's a whole base of workers that come into town every day to work.
That's right.
And then they go home at night. So if we can find ways to either get them to stay longer or spend their money while they're here, those are the good.
It just doesn't take that much. You just want to capture just a small amount.
Yeah.
You know, I always try to talk about that, whether it's people on I-35 or the employees or whatever. Gosh, if we could just capture 10%.
Yeah.
You know, just a small amount, and then we'll eventually start capturing more.
Right.
And I think I keep saying this, and I'm going to say it again. I actually, this week has been one of those weeks where Kayla and I have had some really good conversations with different people, and this idea of experience. People, you know, so we think, oh, why do we want to spend all this money revitalizing a building or doing this? Because maybe people in Perry won't spend money there, don't want to go there. But the reality is, Americans, we like to have an experience.
Yeah.
So these people driving down 35, or you know, now we are excited that we have Seth Wiley coming in. We're excited about what Vance is doing out there, and you know, people are going to be coming to Perry to buy a truck.
Yeah.
There are going to be even more options to come here. But then they're going to want an experience to go celebrate or
Right.
something afterwards.
Exactly.
So when you're driving down I-35, I'm the kind of guy where I just get my maps out on my iPhone, and then I'll search like restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll typically will go to the next town if all I can find is some franchise stuff. But if I can find something that looks kind of like it'd be a fun experience,
Yep.
then boom, I get to map it, and I'm gonna.
Definitely.
And then if I see that it's a cool downtown or something on top of it,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and it might get you to stay even longer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on a trip somewhere, it may get you to stay overnight too.
right.
So.
So let's talk about. I kind of started with you being, one of my first friends here, and it was just kind of fun for me. Speaking of Facebook, because you do IT kind of stuff, right? And so I tried to Facebook stalk you.
It didn't happen.
It's
did
not
it?
going to happen. Yeah, you don't do any social media.
I'm probably the only IT guy that doesn't do Facebook.
Yeah.
But that was a decision I made when they first came out that I didn't want to be a part of that.
Don't want to be a part of it. You're sticking with it,
Yeah.
huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you want to be social with me, you're going to have to do it in person.
I gotta call you.
Call me, text me.
Yeah. All right. So we.
If the texts get too long, I'll call you.
You text, okay, that's been enough. That's enough back and forth. We could have settled this in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So that night, I get something. It was kind of funny. This popped up on my phone, and just thinking about it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool because we didn't intentionally set up this interview knowing it was a year later. But sometimes cool things happen like that, and just kind of thinking about that night, the excitement really that we could already feel on day
Right.
2, and I don't really think it was. I'm not going to. I don't take in the credit that it was me. It was just the perfect kind of timing where the community really seemed open and ready for
Definitely, yeah. And I think one of the things, and you said this to some extent, is people were thinking it.
Yeah.
It just
That's
took you
right.
to come say it, and
Yeah.
the ears to be open to hear it.
Right.
And so it was perfect timing, and things, in my opinion, have just taken off from there. And you hear little things stirring everywhere right now. Those gears turning, and
Yeah.
just keep that momentum going.
And it was also good timing at the new. Mr. Pennell, Larry Pennell, was literally at my that third day. He was there that evening. He hadn't started working yet. He was maybe going to start like the very next week or something.
Yeah.
So we knew he had a new city manager on the horizon, and so there was just that perfect kind of
Perfect timing, and like you said, it was just everybody was. It was the time, and people
Yeah.
were listening and already thinking those things, but it got things moving on
Right.
those first 3 days.
So I think we've got to be careful not to underestimate the power of momentum. And so we do. I mean, do you feel like there's still? Here it is, a year later. This is just in my season, right? So I know you guys have been here a lot longer than just this 1 year, but that's all I've got to relate to. But do you feel like that this momentum is still continuing to where it's helping either foster stronger relationships with different organizations or companies, or
Oh, yeah.
what do you think is kind of?
Yeah, definitely. I think that a lot of the organizations that have become stronger, a lot more communication between them, and trying to do things to in each area to build and grow. And I think that the momentum is still going. I would personally say it's still in its infancy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And that here in the next few years, I mean, we're at the 1 year anniversary, you said, but
Yeah.
this is a long-term project.
It is.
And I think we'll see those things come to fruition here in the next few years.
I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, I believe, and this, like in my life, in this career, where we jump into a community and there's all of this really big excitement, and then some buildings get purchased, and then we get a few, like we know a restaurant's coming in, and then some may say we're kind of even in a particular lull to where we got the buildings bought, we got the restaurant or whatever, secured. We have, but we're just about to pull the building permit. Then you got to hire the architect, or then you got to, or we did these. So I really think that we're probably pretty close to seeing maybe another wave. Like you said, this is a long-term deal. I don't know when it's going to be. Hopefully it's soon, but maybe in 3 months or so, or I don't know. I'm just making that up. But I think we're gonna see these big waves, and I guess it is like a wave, right? You hit the wave, and then it's calm, and then the wave, but you got to just continue to.
Right, and it's that circle. I mean, Zach was just in here. We were talking about housing, and he said, housing. You got to have the housing to bring the people, and sometimes to get people to build houses, you got to bring the people.
Right.
So it's a big circle, but I think we've kicked off one leg of that circle.
I think so.
And we're coming around on that first loop, and like you said, we've talked about this. One of the projects you're working on permits and different things right now, and so on the outside it may seem like nothing's happening, but once you get those things, you can start the work. Then people start seeing things happen, and then somebody else gets interested in another building or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that one project. I think just me this week has probably worked 5 or 7 hours on it, and then along me there was always 2 or 3 other people in the same meetings. So there's been 30 or 40 hours worth of work done on one project, but nobody can see it. So we're working. That's part of that. That's why you gotta just continue to keep up the faith and keep up the momentum and keep. We could oftentimes have a tendency to go, well, man, we almost got up over that hill, but darn it, we just didn't get it. And you can start to quit before you've really got that train, moving.
But I think we'll get there, and we all should just stay positive and keep trying to think of those opportunities that we have to help out where we can.
Do you have any? So you said you didn't have any ulterior motives for signing up for city council, and I believe that, knowing you. But do you have kind of like some goals or ideas or something you'd like to see kind of either yourself or Perry or the council or whatever go towards?
As far as the city goes, we touched on it, and that's relying more on sales tax versus relying on the utility rates to help pay for the needs of the city. We've got just like anywhere in the U.S., we've got older sewer system. We got roads to take care of.
Right.
We have, everybody wants good drinkable water.
Selfish.
I think
people like police protection. And
right. So, a hospital, those things. And I think we've done really good in the past years. We've always had a hospital here. We still do. Some streets need work, but we've gone through a pretty good street project and got several streets reworked. But the main thing is trying to figure out how to get those sales tax dollars and grow that base there.
Yeah, and it literally takes community support too. I mean, I understand everybody's on budgets and things like that, but spending as much money local as you possibly can just really helps. And I know that it's easy to hop in the car and drive to Stillwater and think, hey, I'm saving 10% on my groceries or whatever. But one way or the other, you got to keep the city operating. Either pay higher utilities or spend some money in your town,
right?
And help support and so I'm a believer that the downtown, by creating a vibrant downtown, it creates experience, it creates the heart of your community to be healthier, and so then hopefully, maybe more community pride
and give everybody a place to go and create. You talked about Facebook earlier. You won't need Facebook because you'll all be downtown.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, it'd be face to face.
Yeah.
Instead of Facebook.
So yeah, I'll be social again.
I'm drinking a lot of water today because I had a little neck injury almost a week ago, and I still can't talk very well. So I was wondering, you almost got that text like, dude, we're gonna have to postpone this show, which you would have been like, yeah. But I'm sticking it through, but I'm drinking a lot of water, and I think it's gonna get better.
You're gonna get through it.
Yeah, it was a pool basketball injury, It was pretty intense.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. it's
So you toss bags and play basketball.
and I played pool basketball. It was a mean left-handed dunk, which most people can only do the right-handed dunk, but it was a left-handed dunk
Left-handed.
in 4 foot of water.
I might be able to do that better than you. I'm left-handed.
I am not left-handed.
That's why your neck hurts.
Yeah, that's right. So that's my fact. That's my little not so fun fact for today. So you said you think you had a little Perry fun fact?
A couple things. We're most people listening probably know this, but we're the smallest city in Oklahoma to have a full-service YMCA.
Huh.
And
That's an interesting fact.
and the smallest city to have a paper
Okay.
in Oklahoma.
And it's daily.
Yeah. And the main thing about that to me is, for years, the city's done big things, and we just need to continue to do big things as we go forward. So
It's a cool way to look at that.
I thought it was interesting fact.
Yeah.
I'm glad I found one you didn't know.
I know I didn't know either of those. I would have. The newspaper. Well, I wouldn't have guessed it, but yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
That being the smallest town, and really Perry is part of what I think the important part of that is Perry is bigger than the population sign says. I think that maybe we can psychologically think that we're 5,000 people, but I'd say I would argue that it's bigger based upon how many people work here.
Yeah.
And so again, it goes back to just recapturing
Right.
someone. Give them some of the houses.
How many thousands of people drive down I-35 every day that we
Right.
could pull off the
Yeah.
road and
How many hundreds, if not thousands, over 1,000 we know, work in Perry.
Yeah.
They drive somewhere else. And so the idea that, well, we can't build houses, who's going to move into them? Well,
Yeah.
there's people that'll move into them. We're just not giving them houses to move into.
and the entertainment and the different things that they want to come here. So,
Yeah.
but as each project comes to fruition, another one will, and
Right.
will cause that excitement and people wanting to move here.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I agree.
even build houses and things on their own. So,
I know that we're working towards that pretty hard,
Yeah.
and I appreciate the work that City Hall is doing here to try to make that whole development process a little simpler, easier. Getting to experience that, even some of the projects we're working on, and there's still challenges. I can say that there's not, but
yeah.
at least there's an effort.
If it was easy, everybody'd do it.
That's right. That's right. I think the key that what you're doing, what City Council's doing, and what City Hall is doing is they're being intentional. Like this is our kind of our chance.
Yeah.
Let's be intentional about it.
Yeah, and I think everybody's on the same page, from all different sides, and everybody's
Yeah.
pushing for that same goal.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
And we've talked a little bit about how it's cool that the city and the chamber and Main Street are working very well together. And I'm not saying that they weren't in the past, but I mean, again, that whole idea of being intentional. Let's get the groups together. Let's intentionally get them in, with the department head meetings and whatever. And what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What can I help you with? And that's
Definitely, yeah. Good teamwork. I think the bonds there are stronger than they've ever been, and everything's moving in the correct direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, you have last words. You're feeling pretty good about the direction that Perry's headed.
I mean, there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can definitely feel that momentum right now, and I just encourage everybody to get out and do what they can and enjoy it.
Yeah, get involved. Get involved. We say this often on the show. Don't just sit, so you don't see the Facebook comments, but don't just sit there on Facebook and complain and comment. I mean, get involved. Make a phone call. Find out what you can do to help or learn about a situation. Right. It's just so easy to sit back and feel like you know the answers when you really have no idea how the process is.
And, coming through Arkansas, I stopped in at your hometown where you'd done the first project, right? Like your first project, and And I think, going to other downtowns here and there just to get some ideas and bring those back here
Yeah,
is
that's
a
right.
great thing to do. So
We need collaboration.
Yeah.
We want people to get involved. We want, you might have a better idea than somebody sitting at city council has, but we need, we just need to just collaborate.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. You want Perry to grow for all the same reasons that most everybody else does.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Just because you care about your town.
Yeah.
So we're doing it. We're giving it our best shot right now.
Yep. And I can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hoping everybody else can, and we'll be able to enjoy the fruits of our labor here
That's right.
in the next few years.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank
you
you.
get to keep this mug with
Awesome.
you. I'm kind of hoping every time I see you walking through town, you'll be carrying it.
I'm gonna have to get something with my name on it for you.
That's a good idea. I'll be looking forward to that. So I hope you enjoyed another episode. Just again, telling you what's going on. Again, lots of different representation. City Council's feeling it. We're right here at City Hall, and we can just feel it. It's Perry's on a good momentum, so we encourage you to help keep it going. So thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week. Signing off.